Do you have, like, any experiences with working at the company? Or know stuff about it, if you will?
I mean, I guess I could at least tell you a few stuff about it, but it's, genuinely complicated to say the least.
Like how?
Well, where do I begin with this? I started working with Norman around early 1983, I think. And I was one of the engineers working on those low-budget animatronics, which, not gonna lie, they look like absolute garbage nowadays, especially after the whole incident regarding his daughter being murdered in the process, intentionally. I was also one of those people that came up with the idea of GPT robotic cable units, where it basically gave you the abilities to move around the other joints that weren't technically possible in the first place. Though, you gotta admit, the budget was so incredibly low, it doesn't come as a shock to me that we even came up with crap like that, if I'm being really honest. I don't know what the hell were they even smoking during this whole process. But it sure wasn't anything fancy for all I care. Eventually, they opened the place up, and, well, it wasn't really that bad to say the least, despite the literal minimum wage we're getting after every single shift till Sunday.
Right. Do you know anything else about the incident? Or at least witnessed it in any capacity?
Yeah, that incident. Let me tell you, it was a literal gigantic disaster for the customers. Like, one time, the CEO's daughter came up to the quote-unquote harmless animatronic while lamenting that her brother wasn't watching her. It didn't take long before we heard screaming, and we had to rush through the scene just to witness the absolute hell that is the remains of the girl with organs completely ripped out of her torso, which we had to call 911 over that kind of crap. Next thing I know, the CEO starts yelling at his son, and then his wife leaves him a few days later after the restaurant was closed for good.
My God.
So, yeah. Eventually the brother was put into a mental institution, then quickly ran away from Kansas to Hurricane, Utah, just so he never saw his dad's face again. You know, maybe the girl's death was intentional, because what we found out is that it wasn't the cable units that were cracking up in the first place. Apparently, some satanic crap was taking control of Jamie, which resulted in him intentionally murdering the girl with no resistance at all. How do I know that? Well, let's just say there was the basement in Norman's home that led to the room with several candles and shit. And a few alcoholic bottles too, I might add. Suffice to say, Norman intentionally summoned the thing to control the animatronic and kill his own daughter, and then let her brother take the amount of abuse he got. It's no wonder after he got arrested in 1989, Nick's brother decided to bill in and just take full control of the company and have a restaurant not being made until at least 1996 or something. At least roughly about 2 years before he got killed by something in 1998. I genuinely never even liked that guy anyways. Didn't even get good vibes from him whenever I was working with Chris and Nick, to say the least. Good thing I cut contacts with the company in early 1984, because I didn't want...
I haven't slept well since his daughter died from one of his creations. Just the constant thought of him harming others, it just sickens me. His wife left him about 5 months ago. The way he treated Michael like that, he's severely traumatized. Why is he abusing him like that over his sister's death?
Oh boy, what do we have here? Another boring birthday party with nothing to do. No games, no fun, no memories? Wow, turn that frown upside down. This even Stampede is coming to Kansas City. It's coming just for you. Enjoy a wide variety of delicious cheesy pizzas and down Desert Tea is an action-packed game zone. Win tickets, score big, and trade them in for awesome plushies and prizes at our prize counter. That's not all we got in store. With state-of-the-art animatronic technology, our good pal Mike and I will be rocking out live on stage to be laughing, and dancing.
And dancing all day long. Isn't that right, Mike? Oh, yes, indeed. Better yet, when you call the associated phone number on your child's birthday, you'll get a free Jamie plushie for the discount of...
Happier today, because once you're here, you'll never be alone again.
Hello fellow employees, welcome to the third tape of the snortyfun robotic knowledge series, where we talk about certain things related to the technology of animatronics and others on your duty at Jamie's Pizza Theater. Catching up from the second tape of today, we will now discuss the additional features for a robotic gang and how they can work upon adding them. Well, of course, sometimes the technology can be limited at some point. But here, we managed to pull it off by doing some research and hard work at the time being thanks to our technicians at Anzit Self-Care Robotics. Once we finished the work, we tested it on our new animatronics, and it was an absolute success. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the JPT robotic cable units. Now for some, you might ask questions like, what is a JPT robotic cable unit, and what can it do? This plugin can add new features to the animatronics, like what we've previously mentioned, like eyes, ears, fingers, and etc. And it also helps the animatronics look more lifelike. How do you use it on bots? You can use the cables and remove both the animatronic suits, plug it in on them, then put back the animatronic suit on. And then test out the functions on it. Sounds pretty interesting, doesn't it? While it does sound impressive towards both your eyes and ours, there is a few rules that you should follow upon doing so. Rule 1. Do not unplug the cables in properly. This could make the cables not work if you happen to do it without being careful. Rule 2. Do not attempt to use water on it. Same consequences, but that would also cause some harm regarding wires there, so watch your snouts. Rule 3. Do not tamper with it. Do anything malicious. We'd hate to be those guys who just do unnecessary things on our work. Rule 4. Please avoid having to cause cautions on some instances. Rule 6. Ask the managers before using them and agree if you don't cause any troubles with it. And the final rule will be, if you have any questions regarding these, then please ask any of the technicians so they can hand out an answer to your question. All of the things that the plugin can do, we recommend you always check things to see whether or not it is working today. Or so, notably, in the control module area that the performers use to move around the joints within the animatronics themselves. If you're facing an issue with these devices, please contact us immediately.
Yeah, apparently they don't even work, surprisingly.
You don't really say. It's been like 1 week, and they broke down weirdly.
Well, damn, you're absolutely right. What's up with them anyways?
Well, some of the other technicians have been facing this issue ever since it stopped working, and that none of the animators have seemed to be surprised. I'm not sure what the issue is, but I'm really confused as to what even is up with the plugins themselves.
That kinda sucks.
I might try to use a backup for these animatronics, though. Definitely don't want to go down with any issues.
Well then, please do it when you have the time so that none of these situations get big.
Oh man. Alright, I'll test on the backups of the plugins tomorrow, and if possible, I might add some audio logs on it.
Yeah, do it as much as you want till tomorrow. I'll clean the rest of the stuff for my...
Great. Just great. Where the fuck are the animatronics? You gotta be kidding me, man. Some concept art, some sketches here and there. It generally feels like Sun is just watching me from afar. I don't know how to even put this in, but it's already starting to creep me out by the. What is this doing here? What the hell? Hello? If this is some kind of sick joke, then it's not funny at all.